Hey everybody, welcome to Back Issues. I am Sal.
I'm Ethan.
And I'm Ben.
The comic book discussion series where I explain some character or story arc to two guys who didn't grow up reading them and have no context for what I'm talking about. Today is a great example of that. This is a Daredevil event from 1993 called Daredevil Fall from Grace. And man, were they sure that this was going to be a seminal moment in Daredevil's history. Never mind the fact that after 6 parts and 10 issues, this would be thrown away completely. But
the story was thrown away?
The status quo. Because it was 1993. It's time for revamps and epic changes, shakeups, if you will, for characters. Spider-Man, we got the clone, new costume, web shooters on the outside. We got the X-Men. They have been revamped maybe 2 years ago with all their jackets and pockets and, Executioner songs and gambits. Yeah, exactly. And Daredevil was the last bastion of rational, normal, everyday superheroism in Marvel. Just the old horn head, red suit.
Has he ever been the normal,
He's always been. He's just been, a guy who can't see, who wears a, red outfit, sometimes yellow, and goes and punches guys with a billy club. He doesn't have, he has a radar sense, but he doesn't have a healing factor or augmented strength.
I guess that's why we don't see him too much in the big events that Marvel has done.
Not really, because he's oh yeah, I'm gonna go to Hell's Kitchen and And for the most part, Daredevil events are pretty, either they're really, really intimate or they're really, really shitty. The most recent one I can think of is Shadowland, which a lot of people on Twitter were assuming that's the story we were going to do, where just Daredevil goes fuck protecting Hell's Kitchen, I'm just going to take it over.
What?
Yeah. And that's kind of cool. It's a neat idea. Awful execution.
How do you take over a segment of
New York?
City?
Simple. The mob does it all the time.
Yeah, you kill the guy in charge of the mob, and then you take his spot.
Okay.
Yeah, which is actually not...
But he's not he didn't get elected mayor of Hell's Kitchen.
No.
Well, no, the mayor of New York is in charge of Hell's Kitchen.
Right.
Yeah, no, if Matt Murdock had run for mayor, that's actually not a bad freaking platform, and you can have that, Marvel.
Wait, the Daredevil platform?
Yeah, the idea of Matt Murdock running for president or for mayor.
I'm Daredevil.
Yeah, I'm Daredevil because he's already out. And this is one of the first times that Matt Murdock's secret identity comes out. That'd be something they do a lot, where Matt Murdock's revealed to be Daredevil, and then he convinced everybody he's not Daredevil, and then it's out again.
How many times can you do that before it's obvious?
It depends.
Okay.
Twice.
How many times can he bump into a telephone pole or a street sign and be oh, I'm blind. Oh,
Yeah.
damn it. He can't be Daredevil.
No, this is the first time where that actually comes out, and then they nobody references this when they talk about the times that Daredevil's identity has been revealed.
Wow, so they just pretend like it never happened?
Pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah. Because it's so embarrassing, you see. This is written by Dan Chichester and drawn by Scott McDaniel. The only reason why I actually know of this book is because Scott McDaniel, the artist, was doing a signing at the comic book store at my mall in 1993.
Oh.
And one of the first issues of this was, coming out. So he was there to, promote it. Mm-hmm. And my parents drove me there, and they were like, you should talk to this guy and see about getting into the comic book industry. That was their entire grasp of that world. I'm like, yeah, right? Like Steven Spielberg shooting a movie over there, you should go talk to him and see about getting into movies.
Yeah,
same exact approach as my parents.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're a kid.
Yeah. Well,
What
yeah.
else
They
you
have to
gonna
talk
do?
to you.
Right, yeah. You're just an impressionable young boy. If they don't talk to you, they'll look like a creep.
Right.
So they weren't going to help me with that. They were just go! You know more about it than I do. Anyway, that did not happen. Instead, I got 3 issues signed, and that was the end of it. They were like, that's it? You just got books signed? You didn't ask him any questions? I'm like, yeah, you know what? This is going to be a trend for comic book signings. This is what they did. Hey. Next. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no opportunity for questions.
No.
They don't
You're
wanna
lucky if you
answer
get to
them.
say more than thanks.
Yeah, or you could say, I loved your work in such and such.
Yeah. You're not really meeting them so much as, engaging in a transaction.
Yes.
So it's you don't really meet the cashier at the grocery store.
No. You interact with them, maybe.
Yeah. You can maybe talk about the weather, a little bit.
Daredevil's Fall from Grace is, for me, I called it a classic back issue. It's not because it will be forever remembered, but because it is so convoluted. For no reason. But I was getting back...
Convoluted, it's awesome.
Yeah.
People like intricate...
That's right.
Plots.
So my point being, like, they got to...
Chris Nolan would say.
That's right. Yeah, you sure would. They got to revamp Daredevil. So what do we do with Daredevil here?
I mean, he's already hardcore, right?
Yeah, he's
already,
pretty hardcore.
Beats the shit out of people.
Right, with, like, nunchucks.
But he himself is only hardcore because he can withstand all of that punishment and all that torture.
Yeah.
Because he has, like you said, no healing factor.
Yeah.
Just the fact that he's blind and can kind of still see.
Yeah, and for them, they're like, well, how do we make him hardcore? Let's give him a rad costume.
Okay.
And so he gets, like, the Daredevil armor, made of what they call biomimetic material, which he steals from some company that, like, makes the shit. He actually steals
Biomimetic?
Biomimetic.
What does that mean?
It means that it makes him, like, stronger.
How?
Oh, so it's bullshit.
Yes. It's like adamantium. It's a new Marvel word that they made up. It's like a strength... I think the way they reasoned it was made originally for soldiers. You know, to make them stronger and faster and, like, more effective. But then, you know, it's like the friggin' Batman thing. But, like, 20 years before Batman. So, yeah. Like, no mech body armor. Yeah.
It's like experimental body armor.
Yep. And so he steals...
How gets...
Well, he steals it from, like, a warehouse and, like, and then goes to his apartment.
Does he steal it in this book?
In this book.
Oh.
Yeah. And then, yeah, good luck trying to find it, because Scott McDaniel's art is like a friggin' interpretive, you know, Picasso experience where everyone's like, yeah, oh, I think that's Venom. But the Venom appears.
Oh.
Because Venom was really popular.
Right.
You see.
And Venom's pretty extreme.
You'll note that happens a lot. So, okay, what happens in Fall from Grace? By the way, Fall from Grace was a book. I saw the promotional poster. It was the first and almost only time I've ever thought to myself, without knowing anything about the story, I gotta read that.
Ooh.
It was friggin' cool. Of course, not featured in this book at all, on this art at all, but it has the covers. It's this.
Oh, nice.
Because also, being around that age, I was also, like, into interpreting, so it wasn't, I was like, the book isn't literally about Daredevil falling off a building.
Well, obviously.
It's about, like, his fall.
Right.
He doesn't do that at all. Like, you'd think that Fall from Grace would mean that, like, because he's a religious guy, he's a superhero,
right.
He's a protector of innocence, that eventually at the end of the story he'll become, like, a villain, or he's going to change his tactics and become much more ruthless, be more 90s. The only thing that changes about him, for the most part, is his outfit. So Fall from Grace, the plot, because it's not even like, let's go with Chapter 1. Yeah, Venom. There he is.
Found him.
Yep. He appears in that one. He's on the cover of, like, part 5. He's in maybe 4 panels in that issue. So I'm not even going to go through, like, issue by issue. It's just the plot is like 20 years ago there was this asshole who worked for the government, whose name escapes me. It starts with a K. He's irrelevant. Who cares? Like, he's so whoever. But he invented a Okay, you know how, like, S.H.I.E.L.D. had been around for a long time, and 20 years ago, in 1993 Daredevil continuity, S.H.I.E.L.D. had this asshole working for them who used a couple of the S.H.I.E.L.D. psychics that work for the organization. He killed this one psychic and, like, harvested her body to formulate a virus, which he dubbed the About-Face virus. And the About-Face virus, in essence, allows the infected to change their body to whatever they want.
Wait.
That makes no sense.
Well, of course it doesn't.
What?
Why use a psychic?
Yeah, I was going to say, what is her being a psychic? How does she give rise to that virus?
I guess because it's like using the mind to affect change over the body. That's the best I could come up with. There is no further explanation about the About-Face virus as far as it was like this dude, Eddie, his wife was used to create this. I guess they called it a weapon. The government was going to use it as a weapon.
Okay. How is that a weapon?
I don't see how.
Give people the ability to change themselves into something else. That seems like that would be turning other people into weapons.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that the idea was
maybe they were going to infect soldiers.
The
with
plan
it, so
was
they could, all become
actually what they wound up doing was this dude wanted Eddie, the husband of the woman that they used to make the virus in the first place, who's also a psychic, into a subway in New York and said set off the virus. And as he was being given these orders, he gleaned psychically that they were going to assassinate him once he was done.
Oh.
So rather than do that, he went into the subway and he left the virus, I guess in the dirt on the tracks, between the tracks.
And because he's psychic, he could remember where it was.
Well, and yes, because eventually he decides to become a homeless person and falls off the grid so they can't find him and kill him. But now, 20 years later, this stupid organization that should have been Hydra but wasn't for no reason, called the Snake Root, has figured out that there is this virus that exists and they want it. And in fact, everyone wants it. And when I say everybody, I mean everybody involved in this dumb story.
How do other people find out about it?
They
just coincidentally find out about it at the same time?
Pretty much. It's more like they all find out through their own various ways.
Because they wanted to write a story where people are all trying to get this MacGuffin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
So the Snake Root wants it because Daredevil's once and future dead, not dead girlfriend Elektra is being resurrected for the second time, and they need it.
What?
They need the virus. They're going.
What does that have to do with Elektra?
Each member of this, each team or each group or each individual that's trying to get the MacGuffin, thinks they can use the virus to their own ends, all of which are completely different from what the virus was intended to do and any of their own goals.
But all it does is change the look of the person that's using it.
Yeah.
So
to whatever they want.
Well, how would that affect Elektra coming back to
life? Okay, so Elektra...
She could be more Elektra.
Right. Well, actually, the thing is, Elektra died... Frank Miller invented, killed, and resurrected Elektra twice. First he created her, then he had Bullseye kill her, and then in another story, I think called Elektra Returns or something like that, Frank Miller has Elektra come back to life and then die. So the Hand is trying to resurrect Elektra, and they almost do, and then Daredevil fights them and prevents them from doing it, only to do it himself.
What? So he can have control over the situation.
Yeah. Well, and he only winds up...
back, but I'm going to do it.
Right. But what he winds up doing instead is he doesn't really resurrect her as much as he absolves her of her sins. He gives her a clean slate. I guess he resurrects her, and then she's reborn... in as much as and now she's alive, and then she dies, and so she's dead again, but now with no sins on her soul. This is important because when the Snake Root resurrects her, they wind up actually using this dumb character who you might remember from the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. series, John Garrett, played by Bill Paxton.
Yes.
Yeah, John Garrett is a comic book character from Marvel that has been around for a while. He and Elektra worked together / fought back when she was alive, and he is actually half robot, but not a Deathlock. He's just in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. they call him a Deathlock,
right?
But in this,
he doesn't look like a disgusting zombie, so he can't be.
No, in this he's just he's a cyborg.
Okay,
and the Snake Root believes that Elektra, before she died, one of those times, transferred her consciousness into his databanks. So they take his body, because Elektra had left him someplace in stasis where he believed that he was the president of the United States.
Okay.
He was living in a fantasy world in his own head. The Snake Root takes him, and they're transfer her, they use their magic or whatever and transfer her consciousness back into Elektra's body, but they wind up getting 2 Elektras for the price of one. One of them is the pure Elektra. And the other one is the evil Elektra.
The corrupted Elektra?
Yeah. All the bad, all the evil, all the sin of Elektra is in the form of this new character.
Wait, someone's body come from?
I don't know. They plan on using the virus to tie both Elektras to bring them together.
But like you said, the virus doesn't even do that.
No, but it does. The Snake Root believes they could do that.
So this is a virus that could literally just do anything that people want it to do.
Well, they believe it could do that. So that's what the Snaker is trying to do. And by the way, the Evil Elektra, for no reason, picks a new name, and it's Erinys, Erynnys.
Okay.
That she just calls herself that. And then
is that who's on the cover here?
That's Good Elektra.
Oh, this is Good Elektra.
Yeah, Evil Elektra is just like...
Why is she blue?
It's white, but it's coloring. It's 90s coloring.
Why is she white?
Because she's pure.
So they're actually able to take the sin.
Yeah, and like put it into another person.
Put it into a different person.
Yeah.
Put it into a person who doesn't exist.
So they fully believe in the idea between good and evil, and the fact that
not only they believe it,
God.
Not only they believe it, it's proof. It literally is walking around and talking.
Yeah.
So
God shows up in other comics.
Oh
right?
yeah, no. There's, I mean, yeah.
How often do you see God in Spider-Man?
Quite.
And not Spider-God.
More often than you think. So, the last time I saw him was in Spectacular Spider-Man after Aunt May got shot.
See, Ben thought the answer was going to be never.
0, but he was wrong, and that's why we have the show. So that's what the Snake replied.
There's no God in X-Men. That's all I know.
Well, no, there's a God. It's just that he doesn't care about them.
He doesn't care about the X-Men, exactly.
Yeah. Because they're filthy mutants.
So Magneto was right.
Yeah.
God doesn't care about us.
No, he doesn't. Because if
he's
he did,
a human god.
Yeah, he's not a mutant god. So anyway, the Snake Root is doing that thing with Elektra.
Is this someone from the Snake Root? What the fuck is this?
Yes. It's like a temple. It's not a guy.
Oh, it's just a statue.
Yeah, it's just a statue.
Okay.
Of a snake with many heads, not unlike a Hydra.
Right.
God!
It's just Hydra, but with a different fucking name.
It also has many arms, too.
Mm-hmm. Well, its heads don't go back if you
Hydras don't have arms.
It's true, yeah. Anyway, whatever. So, forgetting the Snake Root plot. So Elektra's running around.
2 of them.
2 Elektras. One doing evil with John Garrett, and the other one's who's I can't believe I'm back. So, and they had alluded to this, actually, a couple issues prior, but they finally did anything with it in this. So Daredevil, by the way, is, banging his girlfriend Karen Page, and Nelson and Murdock is doing pretty well. They were in a high rise, and they're doing. I mean, and Daredevil obviously is a dick because he's making things hard for Foggy. Because Foggy's you're taking on these hard luck cases. We're not making any money. It's classic Daredevil,
right?
And Daredevil's writing out checks to himself because he's this poor woman can't pay her bills, so I'll pay it to Nelson and Murdock so that both people are happy, even though I don't have any fucking money.
Right.
And life is understandably difficult for Matt Murdock.
Right.
So that's one group that's looking for the MacGuffin, the about-face virus.
Okay.
Daredevil encounters the steward of the virus, Eddie, and he gets him, he loses him. It's back and forth throughout the story. Silver Sable is a character that appears in this book. She's been hired to go get it. She and Matt fight, and then she just goes away.
Is she a supervillain?
She is a good guy, kind of. She's more like a mercenary.
She's also a cowboy.
Oh.
No. So they fight, and then Matt's maybe you should, pick your clients more carefully next time, and she fucks off. Just so we could put Silver Sable on the cover and in the book, because around the same time they're trying to launch a Silver Sable series, and no one's fucking buying it, which is why Spider-Man appeared in the first issue, and it had a holographic cover. Well, it would have a raised silver cover. I have that issue. So anyway, who cares about Silver Sable? We got to move on with the story.
This book is so fucking convoluted.
Yeah, well, there's no reason.
Already.
Yeah. Morbius the Living Vampire appears in the book.
Oh.
Because he believes that if he gets the about-face virus, he'll be able to cure his vampirism.
Ah, okay.
He doesn't get it, and he doesn't cure it, and he goes away. That's his involvement. Venom...
Who's this?
Okay. That's Hellspawn.
Oh.
Not from Image and Todd McFarlane.
That's a different Spawn.
But actually, he was invented a year ago, so, draw your conclusions. But
a year
Spawn,
after Spawn?
Yeah, this book came out a year later. But, no, Hellspawn is one of many... you'll notice that he has, a DD symbol on his body, and he's a red demon, like Daredevil is. Hellspawn is a doppelganger of Daredevil, created during the Infinity War story arc.
Oh. In
which the evil Adam Warlock, the Magus, created evil doppelgangers of the superheroes to distract them from defeating him. Spider-Man got one, and he figures prominently in the Maximum Carnage story.
Yes, I recall him.
Yeah, the Spider Doppelganger.
Yeah.
In this, Daredevil has a doppelganger who appears in this.
Okay.
But he was bound to a voodoo man, so he talks like someone from the Bayou.
Wow. Wow.
So throughout the book,
brilliant.
you will see Hellspawn being like, I just want to depower from the sewer.
Oh, no.
So,
No.
yeah.
I come from the other side.
The other side. So Hellspawn
Kingly.
wants the about-face virus too, because he believes that... Because he doesn't want to change, by the way, he doesn't want to not be a demon anymore. He wants true life. He doesn't want to be attached to that voodoo shit, because that's fakery. Like, he wants real life. And he believes the about-face virus will give it to him.
I see. So he's like a zombie. He's not a...
He believes himself to be a zombie.
Right.
He's like, I don't have true life.
Right.
So Hellspawn's in there, and he attacks Daredevil periodically, but Daredevil then steals and invents his biomimetic new armor so that he can take on more hardcore threats, like Hellspawn, like Venom, who appears.
Venom also shows up.
Venom
Does he
shows
also
up.
want the fucking...
He doesn't have anything to do with the virus. His concern is with Eddie and other homeless people, because Venom is a lethal protector in his own ongoing series during this exact same time.
Okay.
See, Silver Sable has a book that they're trying to sell. Venom's got a book they're trying to sell, so they put him in the book.
Does Morbius the Living Vampire have a book?
Yes, he does.
Oh my god. And it's literally like, within like 3 pages,
They're
you
gone.
get the Doppelganger, you get Venom, you get Morbius the
Yeah.
Living Vampire.
Now, Venom appears early, and then, like 2 issues later, Venom will appear more prominently. But then he just goes like, I guess I'll leave. He literally says something like, I might as well just go back to San Francisco, because that's where he set up his operations. And what the fuck? So Venom appears, he goes away. The main crux of it is that, like, the snake people, whatever the fuck I called them.
So they're the main bad guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
They want to make Elektra whole and use her, I guess, to run their organization.
Is that really a bad thing?
Well, yeah, because Elektra's always been, like, when Elektra died the last time, she was absolved of her sins. In fact, like, one of the things she says earlier is, like, or later in the book, is that she's like, I have a clean slate.
Okay.
You know, she's like, I'm pure now. Like, I can actually, like, go to heaven or whatever.
Okay.
Or live a pure life.
Sure.
And it actually gets under the skin of Daredevil's girlfriend, Karen Page, you know, who's all like, so
Why would you absolve her sin?
your old girlfriend's back and she's all like sinless and you might want to like bang her again.
Oh.
And he's like, no, I don't. I want to be with you. There's another
Even
plot.
though you're not a ninja.
Yeah,
and
even though you're
you
not a
can't
ninja and you're pretty
beat up
unremarkable
people,
and yeah, and you used to be in porn or whatever. So
What?
she's being Karen Page used to.
Oh. That's her backstory?
She has a lot of backstory, but we'll get to
She's
it.
got a lot of back.
Is she the character in the show?
Story.
She's the character on the show. Remember that?
Is that going to be her backstory?
Maybe
Yeah, there was a reference.
there's a
to
reference
something.
to her like illicit past. I think it's
Yeah.
going to be either she was in porn or she. I think that'll actually be exactly what it is. But it could also be that she was like a lady of the night.
Right.
Anyway, there's another plot going on. You know Ben Urich? He is a reporter for the Daily Bugle.
Also from the show.
Also from the show.
That's the only reason I know.
But he's a friend of Matt Murdock. He's a friend of Peter Parker as well. And he also knows that Matt Murdock is Daredevil.
Okay.
And he had originally planned on, like, writing a story revealing that Matt Murdock was Daredevil. And he doesn't because he believes in what Daredevil's doing.
And also because he wants to get the about-face virus.
Right, to become a young guy.
So that all of his stories become true. Because the virus will do that too.
Yeah. Well, he's a damn good reporter. All his stories are true anyway. But yeah.
Nobody can write in. He'll give him a
Yeah.
magic like typewriter. And any story he writes will come true.
He actually does do a moment. He has a moment where he's writing an article on a computer, and then he goes, "This doesn't feel right." And then he pushes the computer off his desk, and then takes out a fucking typewriter, and then he taps it out. Which I can only imagine. He goes to his editor, and he's like Robbie is like, "Yeah, I need a fucking digital copy, please, so I can edit this fucking thing. It's loaded with spelling errors. How are we going to put this in the article? We gotta format this shit." What am I gotta pay somebody to reformat this damn thing?
Yeah.
It's the early
fuck's wrong with
90s.
you?
Yeah,
Interns
probably.
do.
Yeah, that sucks. What? Like, hey, I could just give you the digital copy, but no, let me add another step. Let me create an industry that doesn't need to exist.
But it would fill up, 3.5 floppy disks to try and get it to him.
That's true. Ben has the secrets of Matt Murdock on his hard drive. That's another part in the computer issue. And Ben has a intern, this young go-getter chick, and she breaks in his apartment and steals his files and finds out that... Because she's like... She knows that Urich is always sitting on something big. And she doesn't.
She wants to make a name for herself by breaking
into
story.
So she steals.
So she's
his
a horrible person.
Horrible person.
See, that makes
so you
no
describe
sense.
her as a go-getter. She's really just a thief and a liar.
Some people in the newspaper industry might find those to be
the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. So she does steal this information, and she goes to this really shitty newspaper, this rag.
Okay.
And that I've never heard of before. And she's like, here it is. Here's all the... And they're like, we don't actually have any data. Any evidence to back up this claim.
This is just you stole some ideas from someone who said this stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, but does it really matter if they're a shitty newspaper?
That's what's so funny is that they're in this meeting and they're in this shitty conference room.
Right.
And they have on the chalkboard, Matt Murdock is Daredevil. And then one of them has the bright idea and goes, and writes a question mark and now we can legally print this. Because we're not saying that he is Daredevil. We're introducing the concept that he
We're just asking questions.
We're just asking the questions. It's like proto Fox News. And that little newspaper and that little go-getter editor of that newspaper was Rupert Murdoch. That comes out and Daredevil's life is fucked. Matt Murdock's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And
I gotta
even
deal with this shit.
I gotta deal with this. I gotta find the virus.
I got 2 Elektras. I gotta find the virus, and now
my identity's out.
Does he know about both Elektras?
Yeah. Yeah, he eventually happens upon pure Elektra, and she's like, we gotta stop the evil Elektra.
What is happening on this page?
That's Scott McDaniel, man. He's
There's
just
a fucking ship. There's a literal,
boat in the air.
Boat in the air. What the fuck?
What the fuck?
Honestly, in the end, there's another confrontation with Hellspawn.
Uh-huh.
And, Daredevil winds up getting the virus. Eddie, the progenitor of the virus, dies. And Hellspawn and Daredevil, in his cool new outfit, have a final confrontation where everything culminates fucking, Garrett and Evil Elektra and Good Elektra and Hellspawn and the Serpent Society, or whatever the fuck they're called. It's not the Serpent Society, that's the actual group. Snake Root. Snake Root, converge. Morbius fucks off, and Daredevil winds up just shoving the fucking vial in Hellspawn's mouth and then giving it a good punch.
Oh.
And then Elektra kills Hellspawn because the virus. Yeah, because the virus gives him true life,
so he can finally die.
He can actually die. He doesn't want to die. But it does.
So wait, the virus actually does that shit?
Yeah, it's really a magic virus.
God.
It really does do whatever
it doesn't
wants.
just make you look like someone, it actually transforms you into that thing. So if you want to be alive, it will do that.
Yes. And then you can really be stabbed through the chest with a sigh and die.
So before that, why would he want that? Why would he want to become mortal?
Because he didn't really know because he really didn't know what that meant.
He didn't quite understand.
Because he figured if he had real life, he could finally, get out of the bayou and I don't know, do something.
Make a name for himself.
He could finally, I don't know, open up a bait shop.
Yeah, exactly. On the outskirts of the Pyro.
Or he could take courses at the Learning Annex.
Yeah, exactly.
Become a paralegal.
But ITT Tech and become a computer programmer. I mean, the
possibilities are endless once you're
a true living person with a soul and a secure social
I finally got made into an existence and got true life, and now I'm a computer programmer.
Yeah, he could be on those commercials. Hellspawn dies, and one of the Elektras is mortally wounded.
Okay.
I really hope it's Good Elektra.
Yeah, either way, and then they merge.
They do merge.
They merge.
Why?
No, they end up merging regardless of the virus.
What?
Does she become 12 feet tall?
No.
Well, wait a minute.
It's not like she just...
The bad guys wanted her to merge, though. So did they get what they wanted then?
They did, but she's not going to join them. Because they're
right, so their plan was never going to work.
Wait, how do they merge then? It's one body just dropped dead?
Yeah. By the way, she's also really pissed because she's like, I had absolution. I had like a clean slate,
right?
And now I'm myself again.
Yeah, but then
not good or bad. She's just alive.
Then Matt Murdock can just be like, I absolve you of your sins again.
Yeah, but that's not... No.
How did he do it the first time, then? That makes no fucking sense.
Because he actually, like, did a process through which she was resurrected. He didn't just tell her she... He's not a priest or magic. So, Hellspawn, when he died, because he was literally a doppelganger of Daredevil, and he had true life, when he died, his body reverted into Matt Murdock.
Oh, so now there's two of them?
So now there's a dead body Matt Murdock and Daredevil. So Daredevil takes this opportunity to fake his own death and assume a new identity and be a new character.
Not Matt Murdock.
Yeah, so Matt Murdock died in this conflict with the Snake Root, and Daredevil continued and needed a new persona. So, like, Matt Murdock, the lawyer, the lover of Karen Page... the friend to Foggy Nelson died.
Okay.
And here's the dead body to prove it.
But then he can't change how he looks?
No, but he just wears different clothes and, like, sunglasses and takes on a new name.
What? Fucking what?
Yeah, exactly.
Where does he...
They're revamping him, you see. Because
What name does he take?
He goes to his mom, who's, like, a nun, and he asks her, and she's
Who's
like...
alive?
Yeah. Well, like, it was a reveal, but not in this book. That, like, oh, my mom's been alive and a nun the whole time. She says, I was always partial to Jack, which is his dad's name. Because his dad's name is...
Murder and Jack Murdock.
Batlin Jack Murdock.
Batlin.
The reason why that's important is because his name becomes Jack Batlin. That's the name he chooses. Jack Batlin.
Batlin?
Battlin. And that lasts like 10 issues, and then DeMatteis is like, no! And then just doesn't do that. But yeah. So it's a new era for Daredevil.
Why did they think that Daredevil was no longer viable?
Well, I think sales were kind of indicating that, but also...
Because they hadn't been revamped
When had his sales ever been that great?
I mean, they've been great now, because Mark Waid was writing it, and it was fucking great. But
I'm talking back then.
But back then, I mean, it was selling fine. He hadn't been revamped yet. We got to revamp all our characters, otherwise they're not going to be relevant for the next, 5 years. Until they decide not to do that.
So the people's problem and their solution was that he can't be Matt Murdock anymore.
Yeah.
Because Matt Murdock is the thing that's holding Daredevil back.
Right, that's what kept him from being interesting and relevant.
Right, because Matt Murdock's so boring.
But he also has a cool new suit.
Right.
And the cool new suit allows him to fight upper tier threats. So now he can be less of a street level character, and he can fight Venom or whoever.
You know what would make him do that too? Drugs. Put Daredevil in PCP. He got punched through a car window, broke every bone in his hand, wouldn't feel a thing.
Yeah, that's true, but it would also leave him a cripple. Daredevil Fall from Grace is a disaster, and there's really no reason for it to exist. And in fact, a few issues later, it didn't. And
so do they undo his secret identity? His new secret identity? Oh.
Yeah, they just... Oh, Urich actually winds up, bringing her and, some reporters to Matt's apartment and, proves that he's blind and that, gets rid of all of his, Daredevil shit, and she just looks like an idiot. She looks like an overeager jackass, a liar, like what you said. And so it introduces doubt, but Murdock is still kind of really, convinced that he's going to go through with the whole, fake his own death thing. He's just been really looking forward to doing it, and he just didn't want to put up with the arguments. So
no, that doesn't make any sense because his whole thing is that he defends Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah,
which is 5 blocks.
Yeah, exactly. No, you if people not in the city. If you it's not hard to. It shouldn't be hard to do.
Yeah. Well, you can't live in a neighborhood that small and not have people recognize you.
Yes.
Hey, you're Matt Murdock. I thought you were fucking dead.
Yep.
No, I'm not. I'm
Batlin Jack. I'm Jack Batlin.
Clearly he doesn't.
No, you're not. You're Matt Murdock. Why are you calling yourself a different name? You're Matt Murdock.
Really weird.
No, Jack Batlin moved to Hoboken, became an asshole.
Yeah, exactly.
He goes to.
He takes the path to fight crime. This is, by the way, the first in continuity Daredevil book we've ever done.
Really?
Yeah, the last one we did was Daredevil Yellow, which was amazing, and it was the
Right.
Jeff Loeb Tim Sale color series, but it was just an idealized version of Daredevil.
Why didn't they keep
Just
the
like
red
in
color
comic.
scheme?
You didn't change because it would be too similar to what his old costume was. He needed
Yeah.
a radical change.
Yeah.
Awful.
All right.
Anyway, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. I am Sal.
I'm Ethan.
And I'm Ben.
And this was Back Issue. See you next week.